If you look at Judaism, has its form as well. But Islam is a collection of Gnostic writings. I can quote you, for example, book of Bartholomew, all the dialogues between Satan and Allah. Where do you think it comes from? It comes from two sources which come from prior to the birth of Muhammad. Book of Bartholomew and the Gospel of Adam and Eve, where you have the whole dialogue. Now I'm going to quote it to you. "O Iblis, why won't you bow down to my creation, which I made with my two hands? I will not bow down to, I'm made of fire. I will not bow down to something that's lower than myself." This was written between 3rd and 5th century AD, way before Muhammad was born. And it goes on and on, the stories of the 7 sleepers.
It just shows how much knowledge you lack.
Which by the way, see, this is certainty.
You're not
So
letting
instead
me
of
know. You're having a
speculating,
monologue. You're having a
listen, so
monologue.
instead of
You're having a monologue.
speculating,
You
I'm
need
trying to
finish
show
up.
you.
Either you want to have a
Let's
conversation.
stick to science.
Yeah. You're
Pure
having a monologue.
science. Pure
Can I
science.
respond to what you're saying?
Go on.
No, I can respond to what you're saying. Yeah. So okay, so what you're saying, that there's stories written before Muhammad, peace be upon him, that can be found in the Bible. Is what you're saying. What does that
You're
mean?
not even listening. That's incredible.
Yeah, but simplify what you're saying. You're going on and on and on.
For me to simplify, you have
Make
to
your point.
listen.
Make your point.
You don't have cognitive ability to listen. I never said Bible. I said Gnostic Christianity.
That's what I said.
You just
I never
expose
said Bible.
yourself.
I said story.
You just said Bible. Here
I
you
said
can.
story.
He
I
can
said
show
story.
it to
I never
you.
said Bible.
Even the guy is nodding. He said Bible.
I said story.
No, these are Gnostic Christian stories which are not included in the
So
Bible.
what are Gnostic Christian stories?
These are the stories which were not included in the Bible.
I said, where did these Gnostic Christian stories come
I
from?
just told you they were circulating.
From where? What was their origin?
The origin is Middle East,
No, it's
Judea.
not. No, it's not.
Oh,
I'll
there
tell
you go.
what the
He's going to
origin
say no.
Do you want to know? Do you think you know
I
it
can
all?
tell you.
Is it an
It's
exchange? Is it a
Gospel
mutual
of James.
conversation?
Go
You
ahead.
know it all.
Go
I'm
ahead.
going to tell you. Oh, you
I
said
study
James.
those things,
Oh, you
my
said
friend.
James.
Go
Fine.
ahead,
You
go
said
ahead.
James. You said the key word.
Gospel of James.
Yes.
Disciple of Christ.
Yeah, so how is that going to do? What's that got to do
2nd
with the
century
Middle East?
AD.
What's that got to do with the
What's it
Middle
like?
East? What's that got to do with the Middle East?
What do you mean what's to do with it?
James was the brother of Jesus.
No, what?
James was the brother of Jesus.
He was the disciple of Jesus.
He was the brother of Jesus.
No, I'm talking about
Okay.
the disciple of Jesus, not the brother of Jesus.
Okay, but James.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about two different people.
Yes, of course. Go ahead. Just like- go ahead.
So where you're saying these are Gnostic beliefs,
Gnostic
they've
writings,
Gnostic
not
writings.
beliefs.
Fine, the same thing. It doesn't
No.
matter. It doesn't matter. What I'm
It
saying,
matters the
what I'm saying,
documents.
they've been branded as Gnostic writings. Okay, let me finish because you've had a really long monologue.
Go ahead.
You've had a really long monologue. You have to now go back. Where did these Gnostic writings come from? And now, do you want to know, or do you want to?
I already told you it comes from the
No,
early
you're not letting me finish.
Christianity.
You're not letting me finish. So
Go ahead.
in early Christianity, there was a tension. There was the early church of Jerusalem and there was the Gentile church. The early church of Jerusalem was led by James, the brother of Jesus. Okay?
You're confusing
No,
concepts.
I'm not. James was a practicing Jew.
You're confusing
You're not
concepts.
letting me finish. You're not letting me finish. James was a practicing Jew. Okay? There was a conflict between James and Paul. Yeah? Eventually what happened, because Christianity evolved in a Greek philosophical environment, okay, what they done, they back projected their pre-existing beliefs on the Trinity, which they already had, through Neoplatonism and Middle Platonism onto Christianity, and what they basically come to believe. So around 70 AD, there was the Romans come, they destroyed the church. James and his
temple, not church.
James and his followers, they basically vanished. They went into Jordan, etc. These were the Ebionites. The Ebionites were branded as having Gnostic writings. This is where it traces from. Now going back to Paul and Paul's teachings, what actually happened is he was appealing to the Gentiles. The Gentiles were the Greeks. The Greeks already had a prior belief about Middle Platonism, so his belief appealed more to them. And so what happened? The early church fathers never believed in the co-equality of the Trinity.
How does this correlate to what we're discussing?
It does.
We're discussing the existence of those writings prior to the
I've
birth
just
of
explained
Muhammad.
that. I've just explained. No, it comes from James. It comes from James.
Say what the writings were in
And James never
circulation.
believed
So you
Jesus
just
was-
confirm my
James never-
words.
James never believed Jesus was divine. Do you not get it?
Of course I
It
do,
comes
yeah.
from James,
Yeah.
the closest person
Listen,
to Jesus.
listen.
It never
Again,
come from.
again,
It never
no.
come from no mysticism.
Listen.
So you need to
again,
get your facts
again,
right.
No, again.
Yeah.
What we're doing,
Yeah.
you're unable to have actually intelligent conversation because you're going off tangents.
Yeah, you're jumping
The
around. You're
point,
jumping
no,
around. You're
then my
shaking.
point was
I
very
can do the same thing as
concise.
you.
My point
You
was
can
very
start-
concise. What was
you
my
can start
point?
attack- you can start
What
attacking
was my
me.
point?
You can start
What
attacking
was
me.
my point?
Start attacking me, I'll start attacking you.
What
You're
was my
jumping around.
point?
You're scared.
Let me tell you what
You're
my
scared.
point. Yeah,
You're
very
scared.
scared.
You're
I'm
scared.
scared.
You're scared. Just
What
as I'm
was
not
my
intelligent.
point? What
Just
was
as
my
I'm not
point?
intelligent. Did I
No.
say you're not intelligent?
You're
Did I say?
struggling.
Did I say I'm not intelligent?
No, you're
No,
struggling.
you want to have a
I'm
monologue.
making an
You,
observation.
you
No,
know it all,
no.
and you want to have a monologue.
No,
That's
listen.
what it is.
You're refusing.
If you want to
you're
have a
refusing
respectful,
intelligent
have a
conversation.
respectful
No,
conversation.
respect
Have
has
a
nothing to
respectful
do with it.
conversation. Have a respectful conversation.
By
You're
not
raising your voice.
answering the question, you're not being
I've
respectful.
answered your question. It
No.
comes from James.
Doesn't
the
matter
brother
where it
of
comes
Jesus.
from. It can come
comes from the brother
from
of
Venus.
Jesus. Your God. It
It
comes
still
from your
came
God. Do you not get it?
before Muhammad was born. That's the
It
point.
doesn't matter. That proves continuity.
That's exactly
Does
what's
it not
the
get through
point.
your brain?
That
Is it
means
processing through
that
your
if
brain?
you find it in Quran writings, which were in existence
have a
prior to
monologue.
Quran, prior to birth of Muhammad, that